Hey guys, welcome back to our next installment of Combat Broadsword, where we continue to teach you how to actually fight with one of these bad boys. Now, if you haven't started from the beginning, please do go back and watch our intro video. It covers some very important safety information. We've also been over footwork and basic body position. So today what we're going to go over is defensive blade work. The idea here is if you can't survive long enough to attack, doesn't matter how good your attacks are. So we're going to teach you how to protect yourself. Now, protection and attack, as we know in Tai Chi, are often interlinked because we've got a coiling and returning concept in Tai Chi, and that's no different in Combat Broadsword. So we're going to talk about how to arrange that as we talk about our defensive blade work. Okay? So, as we talked about in the last video, we're just going to be in our nice basic 4-6 stance, maybe a little narrower than you're used to, weight over the bubbling wells, good Tai Chi posture, activated chest, blade slightly out. We're essentially going to work through a set of 5 positions for the hand. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you could defend yourself with a sword, and over the course of an actual combat exchange, you may move the sword in ways aside from what we're going to show you here. But what we want to avoid doing is just chasing an enemy's cuts, because then you end up all over the place, and the goal is to be able to take that cut and reprise very quickly. To do that, we have to create an economy of motion, but more importantly, we have to create muscle memory. Because if an opponent is attacking, that sword is coming fast. I don't have time to look at it, debate where it's coming from, pick an angle, and get my blade over there. I need to have that instinctual response to get my weapon into position to intercept that attack. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to build basic, strong positions that can protect the whole body head to toe very effectively, and from there, we're going to be able to move forward and build more elaborate, more advanced techniques. But you got to get the basics down first. So, our very first defensive position is basically where we start. So we've got our basic body position. You heard me talk a lot about how this defends this right side of my body. So if someone attacks from here, all I need to do is add a little bit of that Liu rollback energy. I'm going to absorb that attack as it comes in, and to do that, all I'm going to do is sink my hips a little bit and turn my body ever so slightly. That's all I have to do to defend that right side. I'm just going to sink and absorb that attack as it comes in. We'll bring a partner in to show you this in just a moment. So I'm just going to sink and absorb. Now, if someone attacks from this other side, all I want to do, I want to keep my elbow in roughly the same position. I'm just going to bring my body across almost like I'm punching that attack. Now again, what I want to do is I want to turn with the hips and bring the body in and engage, because that's also going to prepare me to come back out into my attack. So I want to have those hips chambered so I can push that heavy broadsword once I'm done. So this is going to be our first position to the right, second position to the left. Now, again, things that you'll notice. My hand is about even with my hip. The tip of the weapon is still up. As I come across, I don't drop down because I don't want someone to be able to come over the top of that and hit me in the face. As I mentioned last video, bad place for a sword. So we're going to keep that tip up. My hand is still connected at the wrist, and even as I'm turning, I'm going to keep that chest activated so I've got good strength to absorb that attack coming in, and as that comes in, that's going to give me the ability to then cut back out. To either bring the hand up for a pressing cut, roll that through from the wrist. But I want to keep that hand nice and chambered, but my elbow's still a little bit out from my body. I don't want to sink in here because then I lose mobility of the arms. I've got to be able to move my arms quickly. So this is 1, this is 2. Now, if you're used to Western fencing, these are very similar to those positions. Those are not the numbers they use. That's okay. We're just going to number them out so it's easy for you to remember. So 1 and 2. From here, what I'm going to do, to defend my leg, someone cuts from my knee, all I'm going to do is take this blade, I'm just going to relax my wrist and let that drop down. Now, what I want to do is I don't want to get my wrist all funky and reach way out. I can actually keep this blade sort of in towards my leg because I only have to have it outside my shin. It doesn't have to be pushed way out there. I'm just going to take this blade and roll it down. Important tidbit here though, when I bring that down, I'm not just going to drop it. Just like your feet when you slide step, I'm going to make a little bit of a crescent with the blade so I'm actually cutting into an oncoming attack. Okay, so I'm intercepting that. A little bit of expanding energy here in order to take that attack because this wrist position is weak. So I want to have a little bit of momentum from the blade to help reinforce that. Okay, so that's going to be our third position. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Our last position in the body is going to be towards this back leg, and essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same drop and turn, and again I'm just punching across. So tip is down, hand is prone, still connected to the wrist, still active through the chest, sinking through the waist, and taking that blade across the leg. Now another important thing to note here is you'll notice that that blade is outside my leg but not by much. I don't want to reach way out to intercept an attack because that leaves a lot of my body open and slows me down. Broadsword is fought from very close to the body, so I want to keep this very tight just right here. And this is one of those reasons that building up that muscle memory becomes so important because it teaches me when that blade comes in, I don't go, ah, and panic because I'm used to that. I'm practiced to coming just right here, intercepting that blade, and then closing that ground very quickly and very strongly. So we've got 1, just a little turn of the hips, 2, 3 with a crescent down, 4 cutting across. The last one is if someone's cutting towards my head or my face. Now, if someone's coming in from the side, we're already basically covered, but there is the potential of an overhead cut. All I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my hand up over my head. Okay? Still here, still supporting the wrist, just reaching up to catch that blade. Now, it's important as that cut comes in, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I come up under that cut with the blade. I don't, as that cut comes in, want to come over the top and pull that into my head. Very counterproductive in self-defense, okay? So those are going to be our 5 basic defensive positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? Now, you'll see with all of those, I'm moving and activating my body. This is Tai Chi. We want to move from the body. And remember, broadswords are not a light weapon. In fact, if you've got a broadsword that you're practicing with at home, if you want to go beyond the wood, I recommend that you get the combat weight steel broadsword, not the very thin aluminum wushu broadsword, because it's not really going to give you much of a wrist workout. This is a heavy weapon, and you want to practice with a heavy weapon, because that's going to help get that into the body so that you're moving from the body. Okay? So that's going to be the basics. Let me bring Matt over here real quick, and I'm just going to show you what those look like. We're not going to take a long time with this. There will be more extensive videos available later on. For right now, we're just making sure you get the basics down. So, we're going to square up. Now, Matt's got a straight sword. It doesn't really matter here. So what he's going to do is he's just going to go through those positions. He's going to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, and then overhead 5. So you can just watch how that absorption happens. So he cuts to 1. I'm just going to turn in. And you see, all I'm doing is I'm just coming in and absorbing that attack. Okay? When he cuts to 2, I'm just going to bring the body in and the wrist across. And again, you can see if he cuts 2 again, what that does is that puts me in a very good position to then close and phrase an attack. Okay? So if he cuts 3 down to this leg, I'm just going to drop and meet. And you see that crescent, 3 again, that's going to meet that blade and give me a little bit of force. 4 over here. Again, sinking my hips, turning the body in. Okay? 5, if he comes over the head, you'll see I'm coming up. Now, you'll notice that I do that. What's important is Matt's going to go really slowly here. Watch as he comes in. If I just try to sweep this blade up, you see what happens there. Bad news from a face. So what I want to do is, as that blade comes over, I'm going to roll into that. You can see what I'm doing is I'm reaching under his hand and scooping the blade up. This is going to become particularly important as a motion when we start getting into some of our head wrapping techniques a little bit later on, okay? But those are our basic 5 defensive positions. You want to practice those, get very familiar with those, because you want to be able to get into those very quickly. Next time, we're going to talk about, once you've trapped the blade, what do you do next? How do you respond to that attack? And we're going to start actually cutting some people. I know that's what you've been waiting for, so it's something to look forward to. Please click a like on this video, subscribe to our channel, make sure you don't miss any of these or any of our other great videos. We've got yoga, qigong, meditation, a lot of things going on our channel, so make sure to give us a subscribe. Thanks, Matt, for the help and for being our demo dummy every time. We'll see you guys next time.